Every time you ask an AI a question, it just feels like magic, doesn't it? But here's the thing, that magic, it isn't free. For years, the entire AI industry was really focused on just one thing, building bigger, more powerful models. But then, in 2026, everything changed. That's when they realized the real cost wasn't in building the magic, it was in using it. Let's dive into this huge turning point.
So let me just ask you, straight up, what do you think one single AI answer actually costs? I don't mean in dollars and cents for you, but in sheer energy and processing power. That question, right there, is at the heart of this massive economic shift that completely turned the tech world upside down.
And this slide, it perfectly shows the two sides of the AI cost coin. See, for years, all the hype and all the money went into training. That's the massive one-time cost of building the AI model. It really is like constructing a giant power plant. But the real problem, the one that snuck up on everybody, was inference. That's the tiny but constant cost of actually using the AI for every single query. That's the electricity bill you have to keep paying forever.
And yeah, by 2026, that electricity bill was just getting way too high. I mean, imagine millions, then billions of people, all asking questions, generating images, writing code, all at the same time. The cost of just running these models was becoming a huge threat to their growth. Turns out, the magic had a very, very real price tag.
So this realization, it led to a fundamental pivot. The industry stopped asking, how can we make AI bigger? And they started asking, wait a minute, how can we make AI smarter, faster, and just radically cheaper to run? This, my friends, was the great economic shift.
And out of this came a brand new field, inference economics. The whole goal here is to shrink that electricity bill down to practically nothing. It's all about making each individual AI response as efficient as computationally possible.
Now, to get this new economy, you've got to understand its currency, the token. A token is basically just a unit of data. Could be a word, could be part of a word. Every single thing you send to an AI and every single word it sends back costs tokens. In this new world, the math is incredibly simple. Saving tokens is saving money.
And the goals of this whole shift were huge. This wasn't just about saving money for the big tech companies, not at all. It was about making AI cheaper for you, making it faster, cutting down on its massive environmental footprint, and, actually allowing it to scale to serve the entire planet without the whole system collapsing.
So how do they do it? How do you actually make something this complex 10 times cheaper to run? Well, it wasn't some single magic bullet. It was a whole new toolkit, packed with these brilliant optimization techniques. This toolkit had 4 main plays. First, they created smaller student models that learned from the big ones. Then, they used less precise math so they could run on cheaper chips. They even developed this wild system where a small, fast model makes a guess and a big model just swoops in to check its work. And, maybe the smartest trick of all, they started routing questions based on how hard they were. Dynamic routing is such a perfect example of this thinking. Imagine a smart mail sorter in your city. A simple letter just going across town, you send it to the cheap, local post office, no problem. A complex international package? Okay, then you send it to the expensive, powerful central hub. This saves a massive amount of resources because you're not using a sledgehammer to crack a nut. And this wasn't just some software trick. It literally changed the entire industry. Hardware providers started designing new kinds of chips. Cloud companies totally changed their pricing models. And look at that last slice. A whole new category of company was born. Model optimizers. These are startups whose only job is to make AI run more efficiently.
And their goal was so simple and, frankly, so audacious. Take an existing, expensive AI model and find a way to make it run up to 10 times cheaper, all without anyone noticing a drop in quality. A 10x improvement. That's the kind of leap that changes absolutely everything.
So why does any of this technical wizardry really matter to you? Well, because making AI 10 times cheaper doesn't just help a company's bottom line. It fundamentally changes how you and I use technology every single day. For you, it means more powerful and often free AI features baked right into the apps you already use. For businesses, it means they can finally afford to automate things like customer service on a massive scale. For developers, well, they had to learn a whole new skill, thinking like an accountant, saving every last token. And for the planet, it means we could finally slow the unsustainable growth of AI's energy consumption. And this is so crucial, it leveled the playing field. Before 2026, if you wanted to build an AI startup, you needed an astronomical amount of cash just to pay that electricity bill. But by slashing those running costs, it suddenly became possible for small, innovative teams to compete with the giants.
You know, a technology becomes truly revolutionary when it gets cheap enough for the boring stuff. When it costs next to nothing to have an AI organize your inbox, or manage your schedule, or summarize your meetings. That's when it becomes this invisible, indispensable part of your daily life.
But you knew it was coming, right? As always, there's a catch. Making things dramatically cheaper and faster, well, it rarely comes without a trade-off. This new world of inference economics brought with it its own set of very real risks.
Yeah, there were clear costs to all this cost cutting. Squeezing every last drop of efficiency can definitely impact quality. Plus, managing this complex web of different models is a huge technical headache. Some of these tricks can lock you into a single hardware provider, and things like caching common answers, while it saves money, it opens up a whole host of new privacy concerns.
And this quote right here, it gets to the absolute heart of the biggest risk. The drive for efficiency could lead to a race to the bottom, where models get faster and cheaper, sure, but also less accurate, less creative, and ultimately less useful. You know, there's a really fine line between optimized and lobotomized. Which leaves us with this final, critical question. The economic shift of 2026 made AI accessible to everyone, everywhere, which is amazing. But as we keep pushing for maximum efficiency, we have to constantly ask ourselves, are we making AI smarter? Or are we just making it cheap? The answer to that question is going to define the entire next chapter of artificial intelligence.